This week on Mad Brackets, we talk about some tennis. Welcome in to episode 9 of season 2 of Bad Brackets. I'm your host, Randy Isbell. With me is your all-time single episode point record holder, David.
Oh, me? That's me. My bad.
Also here this week is your all-time single episode lowest point total record holder, Billy.
Mm-hmm.
And the man that had both of those records a month ago, Jesse. Yeah, we will be talking about the greatest tennis players of all time. Get you ready for Wimbledon. I know that that's one of the events that I always will tune in and watch. Depending on what job you have, sometimes it works out great where you kind of wake up in the morning and watch some tennis, or like me, you get off work and you end up watching a lot of tennis before you go to bed. So we are going to get right into it as I share the old screen. For those that do not know or have never seen a show like this, this is how the rules go for Bad Brackets. Each of these contestants are going to guess 3 tennis players that are going to be on the 24-item bracket. We'll figure out who goes first here shortly. Points given away based on the seed of that tennis player. So if they're a 14 seed, you get 14 points. Billy, what happens when they're not on the bracket?
You don't get any points.
You don't get any points. He knows exactly all about that one. That's for sure. You do get one counter pick. If that item is not on the bracket and you successfully get your counter pick, you get 5 points. But Billy, what happens when you get that wrong?
You lose 5 points.
Yep, he's done that.
I know about that too.
Before the show, each contestant turned in their predictions for the Final Four and champion. You get 2 points for each Final Four pick correct. You get a bonus 2 points if you get all 4 of them correct. We saw 2 of those last week. We'll see what happens here. And of course, you get 5 points for the correct champion. Any questions, comments, or concerns before we spin the wheel?
Related to this, or
sure, whatever you want to say.
Pain.
Your back pain.
Everyone's
coming in a little bit injured on this episode. Talk about tennis, and a bunch of nerds just can't handle it. That's for sure. All right, let's see who gets the first pick. It will be David gets the first pick.
That's unheard of.
And your second pick is Jesse.
Tell me it's rigged.
Billy will get that last pick. He will get the first chance to have the count. All right, let's get into the draft. David, you have the first pick. Give me a tennis player you think made the bracket, but not too high.
It wasn't my intent, but I guess I'll stick with back pain and start with Monica Seles.
Monica
Too soon?
Seles. It's been 30 years, right? Ish, since that happened. I think we can do that. That's fine. Jesse.
Well, let me take a stab at
there we go.
Oh, is that? I'll go with Jimmy Connors.
Jimmy Connors. All right, Billy.
Just because I know there's going to be both, I'm going to try. It's probably going to be on there, at least it's points. We'll go Pete Sampras. Why not?
Sampras. Okay. Give me your next pick.
No, let's go with Agassi. Why not?
Well, you can see the era that we grew up in.
Yep.
Jesse, back to you.
I mean, I guess if we're going U.S. players, then I'll throw a McEnroe on there. Give me a John McEnroe.
Oh, I was going to ask if you meant his brother or not.
No.
All right, David.
It's kind of hard to snipe on this one because after like 10, it can go
Mhm.
anywhere. Like, I'll go with Yvonne Lendl.
That right? Anybody?
Yeah,
Or is it, no, it's an E, I think. I remember this name.
no, there's
Yeah,
no
it's,
E at the
it's an E.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wait,
Yep.
yeah.
Sorry, Lindell. I apologize. Okay. Your last pick for David.
Let's do Venus Williams.
Venus Williams. All right. Jesse, your last pick.
Um. I'll. Yeesh.
It's tough. I think David nailed it. Like the top 10 kind of stand out ish. And then it's just which ones actually made the cut.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll go with Rod Laver.
Rod Laver.
ER.
Is it ER?
Yeah.
All right, Billy.
Let's go Sharapova.
Maria Sharapova.
Mm-hmm.
First
All
round
right.
bye, bracket.
There you go. There are your 9 picks. So now you guys have to decide which one of the 9 might not be on this bracket.
We're all losing 5 points.
If we all get it right, do our total stay the same?
No, you just lose your 5 points. Maybe that'll be a season 3 change where if all 9 picks actually made the bracket, I won't deduct any points from you. It would be the second time already in season 2 if that is the case.
Yeah.
All right, Billy, give me a counter.
Lindell. Yeah.
Okay, Jesse.
I'll go Sharapova.
And Doof.
Pick one of your own.
Okay. Almost certain all of them are on there, I think.
I know.
Let's go with an older one. Let's go with Labor. We all got a pick on there now.
There you go.
There you go. That is how it'll work. Those are your picks. Those are your counter picks, and we will see how things go. But first, get your whiteboards ready because we got some bonus questions for you.
I should have been the first to pick my own then, just to see what happened.
I had to do some research on this one. So if they're wrong, I don't care. These are whatever I said is the correct answer is the correct answer. How about that? For
like
1 point, how many women are on the bracket? Write it down on your whiteboard, and once we get to the bigger screens, we will all reveal. That is your first question, worth 1 point. Question number 2, worth 3 points. How many players on the bracket won all 4 of the Grand Slams? So Australian Open, French Open, US Open, and Wimbledon. You have to win each one of those at least once. How many of the 24 players have been able to do the career Grand Slam? And finally, and I am a fair host, this is an impossible question. So bonus question number 3, worth 25 points.
How many majors have been won combined?
How many Grand Slam championships have been won
my
by the
God.
players on the bracket? All 24 of them.
Just to be fair, singles.
Singles. Correct. Singles championships. That's
That
actually a
makes it
very,
like 400 on our own.
that is a very good distinction. All singles titles. Because, yes, a lot of the players on here have won a lot of doubles titles throughout the year. I did not tally that up. Tallying up the number itself was already silly. So, all right.
I couldn't even guess 69. That's way too low.
I will say it is higher than 69. That might be a spoiler.
It's 70.
Duke, you were the first pick, so let's get your answers first. How many women are on the bracket? You said 11. How many players have won all 4 Grand Slam titles? Is that 11?
Yep.
And 251 Grand Slam championships. Okay. Jesse, you were the second pick. How many women are on the bracket? Is that 6? You said 18 of them won all 4 and 283.
Wow.
Okay. Billy, what are your answers? You said 12. Half of them are women. You also said 11, and you said 288. Perfect. All right. We will see if somebody wins a bonus 25 points. That would be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Let's get right into it with your first matchup as I go back to remember who is who here. How about your 13 seed? How about old Bjorn Borg with a old little mini tennis racket? Or
John
points as
John
Ivan Lendl.
Ooh,
20
Cool.
points for David. Billy,
-5 points.
already to -5. We're off to a good start. But which one was better, Bjorg or Lendl? I forgot that was the first match. All right, show me winner. Borg, all the way Borg. Borg 11 Grand Slam championships. Lendl just 8. Is that the reason why you went that way, Jesse?
Yeah, and I think Borg, if he wouldn't have retired at 26, I think, he could have probably been in the high teens. I think that he was too engrossed in the game, so getting away and getting some peace was a lot better for him.
Yeah, one of those great stories of getting the mental health taken care of before that kind of became the mainstream. David, why did you go Borg?
When I first got into tennis, I heard his name a lot, and also he just, as silly as it sounds, if you think of a tennis player, he looks like one. He just has the classic look, the flowy hair, and then he's also like kind of almost like the foreign villain in a way, and just dominated everybody. But yeah, just a short career. Like he probably could have easily been top 4 in this bracket if he played even 5 more years. But
Billy, I know you and I and Duke for all big bowlers, so we always watch like the old bowling stuff, and you see, back in the day, or back in the 80s and stuff, they all had like the black bowling balls. You can always kind of tell what era they were bowling in. Completely different with tennis. You see them and they have these little itty bitty tennis rackets, and it's always so impressive to watch them be able to be so successful with about half the surface to hit with.
I would hurt myself even if I tried to even play tennis. So
you hurt yourself and you weren't even trying to play tennis.
yeah, that too.
Let's see if Bjorn Borg can beat your 4 seed. How about the one and only Roger Federer? Federer or Bjorg? Which one moves on? Federer, not a shock to be on here. But does he move on? Let's see. Absolutely.
Another just clean sweep.
This one not too surprising. He was right. Obviously, there's different eras in tennis, and we have them all covered here. But he really was kind of that perfect player after the era that we all grew up in with the Agassiz and the Sampras's to really kind of take over, right?
You still hear his name all the time.
And he's like, because it always seemed like tennis seemed to have that peak age, like late 20s almost. And he just seemed to say, the hell with it. I'm going to just dominate like 10 extra years than I should. It almost seemed like he was going to go downhill a little bit. And then, I'll just keep winning majors, break records. He's just, like for UFC reference, he was like Randy Couture. He just defied his age.
Either that or maybe even a Tom Brady of the NFL or the
Yeah.
tennis. How many of those are we going to hear today, though, too?
Yeah.
A lot of those.
So, I mean, Jesse, we talked about he had 20 Grand Slams, but how many does he end up winning if he doesn't play at the same time as a Nadal and a Djokovic that they ended up all kind of sharing all the titles?
Yeah, I mean, you can do that with a lot of eras, but definitely with this era, having to face Djokovic and Nadal, especially, or I mean, there was the one-offs with Del Potro and Wawrinka won a few and all that, but the main rivals, Nadal beating him 10 times in 10 finals, like.
One of the greats, and especially in the newer era. So let's go old school, shall we? To a player I don't know if any of us have ever watched play. But how about old Roy Emerson? 12 Grand Slam titles, and he did win all 4 of them. Or your 21 seed and points for Jesse. Good old John McEnroe. 21 points. Jesse takes the lead.
Can't
Which
be
one
serious.
is better, Emerson or McEnroe? I almost put the "Are you serious" picture as the McEnroe one. I was very tempted.
I'm just amazed you didn't flip Lindell and McEnroe so that you could have had Borg and McEnroe.
Yeah.
Like-
Well, you could have had it in the end. But
Yeah.
I will say this. There obviously, if anybody has watched any of our past episodes, first, thank you so much for watching. If you haven't, like, comment, please subscribe. It always helps us. The likes have been fantastic as far as getting our videos out to more people. So anybody that does that, I very much appreciate. But anybody that watches knows I love my themes, and I love to have those classic matchups. I don't think I have a single classic matchup built in. This was just straight rankings, and I just could not get myself to like move people above or beyond it. It was tough. But all right, who moves on? McEnroe or Emerson? Yeah, I felt a little bad for Emerson going up against McEnroe because he wins 12. McEnroe only wins 7, but obviously when you talk as much
He's a
game as
character.
McEnroe, and
Yeah.
I mean with his commentating days and stuff too, he's still in the tennis landscape.
Yeah, like even if he wasn't all that good, like people remember him. So even if you just ask Joe Schmo who's better, like McEnroe or Emerson, we were like, who's Emerson? Like I know who McEnroe is.
Hey Billy, who's better?
Definitely McEnroe.
Yeah, there you go. See, Joe Schmo agreed with
I've
it.
heard of him at least, so that's good.
And
Ah,
I mean
this is bad.
the classic rivalry with Borg,
Yeah.
and he had a good game, a good serve and volley. I read one of the quotes that was talking about how a doubles team is John McEnroe and anyone because serve and volley
Yeah.
was all it took.
Yeah, he's still good at that. That's for sure. All right, how about your 5 seed? How about Rafa Nadal? Nadal and McEnroe. Which one moves on? Jesse miffed.
Gonna get Nadal Federer already.
Listen, you guys will understand here in a minute. Don't worry about it. Is it Nadal? Let's see.
Oh, it's a clean sweep. Yeah.
We have yet to have a split in this one, and
Until
we have yet
now.
to have one where I disagree. Yeah, now it gets fun. Now it gets fun. We will go right into it. We will save the Nadal talk because it is the classic rivalry. Federer, Nadal. Who is our first to make it into the final 4?
Oh, it just.
I have a feeling I might be the only one without one of these two in their final 4.
I just realized Randy did me dirty.
You did your rancid.
That is true. Yeah. I should know better.
All right, let's see. Let's start with Billy. Okay, David. Oh, it's down to a
Ooh.
tiebreaker. Jesse, break the tie.
Yeah.
Nadal moves on. Jesse, why Nadal?
I mean, versus Federer, 24 and 16, head-to-head all time, 10-4 in finals. He's got 22 titles. Federer's got 20. I mean, they had the matchups, and it seemed like he had Federer's number most of the time.
I mean, obviously there are other players that have dominated certain tournaments, but his domination on clay, period, was insane.
Yeah,
In practice.
14 French Open titles is one of those that people talk about records that will never be broken.
Yeah,
that'll never.
How many
be
in a
broken.
row did he have? Wasn't it like 12 or 10 or?
No, he had, I think, 2 runs of 6.
Oh, okay. Yeah, like
So
this is
yeah.
like for us wrestling fans, this was Rock Austin, but then Djokovic showed up and make it like it's very rare. Like Djokovic hasn't been on the bracket yet, but he will. But you always have like Bird and Johnson. You have all these great rivalries head to head, but there's rarely ever 3. And having Djokovic, Federer, and Nadal all at the same time, it was for tennis fans. We were spoiled because like no matter what, you're going to see a great matchup. If one of them didn't make the final, the other one was. They're always going to face each other. It was insane.
And the fact that those 3 went on for like a decade.
Yeah,
I mean, I know Federer was around first and then Nadal, but even then, all
the,
3 of them
the
played
better
for a
part of
decade.
the better part of 2 decades, realistically.
Yeah. 100%.
And I mean, Nadal, you can say in sports, your best ability is your availability, but Nadal is one of those. If not for injury, I think he would be all-time leader in Opens, having to bow out of a bunch of slams and missing significant chunks of time. So
miss all that time and still get 22 Grand Slams is pretty insane.
Yeah, rough life.
All right, let's move on to quadrant number 2. Another old school name. See if he gets any love here. How about Ken Rosewall and his 8 Grand Slam titles? Or your 17 seed with 8 Grand Slam titles, old Andre Agassi.
Yeah, I got points.
And I had to go both ways.
The hair
I gave
is
him
great,
with the
too.
hair. I gave him with the hair and then without the hair because we knew him with both. But Billy gets points. He's back in the positives.
Technically, I already beat my record because I can't lose more points.
We could find a way.
There's rules that get thrown in all the time.
I believe it.
So 12.
You could have put Agassi and Graf against each other. That'd have been a fun matchup.
They've already had that matchup.
Yeah.
All right, who moves on? Yeah, the old guys just aren't going to get a lot of love, I think, with the group of guys we have on this episode. Talk about Agassi, because I know we don't know much about Emerson, but got to give him love with his 8 titles.
I think he proved the wrestling mentality of getting a haircut makes you better.
Yeah.
Because
More aerodynamic.
he shaved his head, and all of a sudden he's awesome again. But it's like, yeah, speaking of the old guys, though, it's like tennis seems like to be a sport where obviously people involved and get better, but like obviously our recency bias as young as we are, like it's hard to like this is one of the few sports where over time it's hard to really evolve the game other than getting stronger. Like obviously we can't do the head-to-head matchup between these two now, but it's fun to pretend. But yeah, this is just one of those few sports like this, and golf obviously has better equipment, but not much has changed over the years.
Yeah.
Rectangle court
really,
and net.
Agassi was one of those players that he had fun. He had fun playing the game, and it was fun to watch him because he was a personality. And I think that's what got us all into tennis there in the 90s was the personality of the McEnroes and the Jimmy Connors who might show up later in this bracket. He had the big personality, and a little bit later with the Agassis and some of those players. I was a big Michael Chang guy. He didn't have the biggest personality, but I always loved him too. But yeah, the 90s had a lot of personality in tennis.
Yeah, Chang was good fun.
Yeah.
All right, and your number 1 seed, we've already mentioned him before. It is Michael Chang. No, it's not. It is Djokovic. It's the Joker. 24 Grand Slams. This is a good one for you, Agassi. or Djokovic? Who moves on? Gonna make my mom very, very sad. Here, moment. But show me winner. It is Joker.
Mel wrote a different name, but the
all
same.
the way. Right, that's 100% true. We've yet to have a split decision other than Nadal versus Federer so far.
Weird.
Not too surprised.
I'm not gonna lie, I don't follow much tennis, but like I've never heard this guy until I looked him up. That's how out of the loop I really am.
Let's move on. You're not
He's
supposed to like.
moderately all right.
Yeah, I would say so.
You're not supposed to.
He plays
admit
hard.
that. You are the expert in this field, sir.
The third most expert.
Yeah. All right, let's go with your 9 seed. Old school. There's Rod Laver. Points for Jesse. Or your 24 seed, Jimmy Connors, and more points for Jesse. Which
If he gets
Jesse
that 25-point
pick?
bonus, I'm doomed.
Right.
Right. Which Jesse pick moves on? Laver or Connors? This is a fun one.
Maybe this is why Randy made it
And
25.
-5 for David.
Oh, yes. Always forget
See how it
those
is.
counter picks. All right, show me winner. Do we get a split decision?
Wow.
No, Laver all the way.
Oh.
Somebody say something nice about Connors. I always liked watching him play.
Yeah,
He's
he
got
was
a good
beast.
overhand.
I mean, another guy with 8 titles, so definitely not like he didn't do anything. But Laver, when you have a whole arena named after you, you're the only one to complete a calendar Grand Slam in the Open era. Like, it's hard to compete with that.
He did it twice.
Yeah, absolutely. Connors obviously remembered for his U.S. Open run when he was an old man and went on a good run, and that was always fun to watch as well. But he gets eliminated. So Laver goes up against your 8 seed, and points for Billy as Pete Sampras is your 8 seed. Sampras or Laver, which one moves on? I think this could be a fun matchup. Again, you were talking about Bjorg and McEnroe and making that a head-to-head. I really wanted to get Sampras Agassi in a head-to-head, but it just didn't quite work out. So that is 20 points for Billy. All right, show me a winner. Do we got a split decision this time? There's our winner.
Wow.
Ooh,
Yeah.
clean sweep for Sampras.
It's like we're
I
texting each
almost-
other.
I almost went Laver. I mean, Sampras not being able to find his own left foot on clay
Oh man,
kind of drug it down, but still 14 titles.
how many Wimbledon do you have? Like 9? Where do you finish with Wimbledon's? I forgot to write that down, but
Yeah, I think it was 8.
it was 8. David White Sampras.
He turned to one of my favorites for a while because I remember, I think it was during the U.S. Open, like a semifinal, like 5th set. He ends up ralphing in the corner of the court because it's so hot, wins the match, and goes on and wins the title. I mean, that's just pure grit. Anyone else can just throw in the towel, but he didn't. Anyone. It was just
Most
amazing.
people might have.
Yeah.
Yeah, that quiet assassin during the 90s had so many personalities, and Sampras was just super quiet. And then you go to Wimbledon, and nobody could beat him.
Yeah.
But can Sampras dethrone Djokovic? Who joins Nadal in the Final Four? Let's start with Jesse this time. Yeah. Let's go with David. Clean sweep, Billy.
Yep.
Yeah.
Novak.
Novak and Nadal
I mean,
into our
speaking
Final
of
Four.
grit and determination. That's kind of Novak's whole game is not letting a single point go.
He's another one that his attitude I've always been a fan of. I know it can rub people the wrong way because he's so over the top sometimes as far as how intense he can be while he plays, but I'll never
can you
fault
not be
somebody for
intense
that.
like when you have so much on the line?
Yeah, he gets into it. I
Yeah.
absolutely love it. So that'll make a very interesting semifinal matchup when we get to there. But right now, let's get to the bottom half of the bracket. And let me look at what I had. There you go. Your 14 seed. How about Billie Jean King? Or your 19 seed. How about Justine Henin? Which female tennis player was better? All right, show me a winner. There's a king. There's a king. Another clean sweep. I can't get you guys to split any of your votes. You guys have figured out this whole episode deal. Anybody have any thoughts on either of these two before we move on?
Like, Hennon was good, but she just couldn't get into her. Like, appreciated the skill, and Billie Jean King was just more revolutionary and had to give her the nod for sure.
That's fair.
Yeah, 7 titles for Henin, 12 for Billie Jean King. I mean, that's without the whole male-female
Right.
outside of tennis.
Yeah, it all worked out. I don't blame you. But is Billie Jean King better than Margaret Court? 24 Grand Slams. Which old school tennis player was better, Billie Jean King or Margaret Court?
Fitting last name for a tennis court.
Mm-hmm. But
And the crowd yawns.
All right, show me a winner.
look at
Oh,
that.
there's a split.
Hey.
Hey, Billy likes it
Yep.
when a woman beats a man in a sport. He'll give her all the nods. But
2 thumbs up.
Court 24 Grand Slams is tough to scoff at. That's
Yeah.
for sure.
Would there
That
be a
got the
court without a king?
But what, 14 of them were before the Open era, something like that?
It might be right, but they still count.
Yeah.
I'll look that up. Well, you guys go to your next matchup. I want a full book report on our next person here, Billy. I want this from you. How about
We might have time here in a little while.
Helen Willis Moody?
Oh, her.
She had no Grand Slam championships in the new era, but she had a lot way before that. Or your 22 seed and points for due, Venus Williams. For those that do not know, which I did not know, Helen Willis Moody, 19 Grand Slam titles. That is why she made the list. Margaret Court had 11 in the Open era. 13 before. Obviously, Helen Willis Moody, none before. Or none in the Open era. Because she played in the 1920s and 30s. So, which one moves on? More titles or the one that we've watched? Who moves?
I bet you the one that we watched.
There you go.
The one that would have had more titles if not for her sister.
Yeah, that's also true. I remember
Christmas
we all
gets
got so excited about the Williams final that one year, and like, oh, how cool this is. And then I feel like it happened 11 times. And then, I mean, with injuries and stuff, I think Venus was a fantastic player too. I think injuries kind of derailed her career, and then Serena just became a whole different
Force.
kind of a player that just dominated forever. But again, Venus is one of those where injuries took her from she's going to be second to Serena in so many things. She was very, very, very good.
Yeah.
People still know a lot about her because she's still just that popular.
I think it was Venus was the one that was pushed. Obviously, she earned her way to get to the spotlight, but then Serena just said, "No, that's mine. I'm better than you," and I know it.
All right, let's move on. We got one more name here in this quadrant, and it is your 6th seed. How about Steffi Graf? Graf or Venus? Which one moves on? Only 2 left that have been drafted that have not shown up yet. And it is what? What are we at? Oh, of course, this blocks my view. What do you got, Jesse? 54?
Yeah.
To 37 to 20. I went full screen to see it, and then my option bar blocked your score. Like, whoops. All right. Show me winner. Who is right?
Steffi Graf.
It's a Steffi Graf. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't get that reference. Steffi Graf. Dude, why'd you go?
You're gonna have to watch some Parks and Rec.
It was out of spite because Steffi was great, but I was a Lindsay Davenport fan. I was a Monica Seles fan, and Steffi always beat their ass.
100% fair. She was good. All right, but who goes to the final 4? 46 Grand Slams between the two. Court or Graf? Is it Graf or Graf? I always forget.
I think it's Graf. That's what I've always heard anyway.
I apologize if I'm saying it wrong. It has been 30 years since I watched her play tennis, so I forget.
It's a silent F. It's just Gra.
Graf. Yeah. We haven't started with Doof yet. Doof, give me your pick.
I had to.
Jesse, let me see your pick. Yeah. Clean sweep?
No.
Oh, I chose incorrectly. It's always disappointing. But Graf moves on. We got one quadrant left. And your 15 seed. And points for Doof, Monica Seles. Or your 18 seed, Martina Hingis.
That's a good duel.
Seles or Hingis? Which one moves on? So 52. Good game. 2-point difference.
I'm getting the bonus. Make it even more interesting.
Show me one. This one's interesting to me. Seles. Yeah, well, Seles. Anybody like the Martina?
I did, but I just like Seles better. But I mean, if you get stabbed in the back and still come back, that's just the PTSD of that. Even I imagine just getting back on there.
Jesse, you kind of had a look on that. Were you not a big Martina Hingis fan?
Not really, no.
How come?
She was,
Like Sampras had no personality, but Martina had even less of one.
yeah, she was the classic stoic Eastern Bloc, just
Yeah, like Ivan
there
Drago.
to, there to do the job. And
Ivan Drago. It's a good reference.
They put the batteries in before she came out on the court and took them out when.
It's totally fair. Totally fair. But your 2 seed might not have mattered anyways, right?
Serena.
Serena.
Yeah.
Serena or Seles? Who moves on? All right. Somebody have some balls and put Seles. Let's see.
Doubtful.
Venus's sister.
Yeah.
There you go.
I don't even have to write anything because it's going to be Serena.
In post that I am going to put Jesse down as a Seles pick, and you got it
Perfect.
wrong. I'm not going to do that. That takes too much work.
She's
I know
so
you
good.
forget. I always forget things anyways. And we'll talk about Serena, I'm sure, as
Mhm.
we move along. But your 10 seed, I mean, I felt bad putting him this low, but I had to. Martina Navratilova, or your 23 seed, and points for Billy.
Some good
Maria
points.
Sharapova. And Jesse does lose his 5. You guys were right. All 9 made the list. But you had the 20, the 21, the 22, the 23, and the 24 seed.
Jesus.
But you still got all 9. So you gambled, and it paid off.
I thought I was rolling the dice on even Stellis, but
It also helps
Yeah.
that I did do a clean, balanced pick, which Billy predicted correctly, and we'll get to that later. Who moves on, Navratilova or Sharapova?
I'll probably be the odd one out.
it's probably the ugliest versus the
Okay.
hottest.
Yeah,
Yep.
Martina.
I didn't want to finish.
You spelled it perfectly too, Dave.
Martina won. What do I have her down for? 18 Grand Slam titles. I'm going to look it up right now. I think she won 107 doubles titles.
That makes sense.
31 doubles and 10 mixed doubles.
Yeah, there
Jesus.
you go. She played
Nuts.
for so long after her singles career was done and was so good.
I feel like
Don't
I
have
could have
to
won
do
a
it
doubles
all.
title with her.
I mean, obviously, we're focusing on singles and stuff, but 177 Open
God.
era titles for Martina.
It's nuts.
Again, I felt bad for putting her at the 10, but again, if you haven't noticed, I did men for the top half, women for the bottom half, so it was not a lot of spots as far as being able to pick. But your final person left to be revealed. How about
Chris
we
Evert.
finally get a rivalry? Chris Everett or Martina Navratilova. Who moves on?
So your first bonus question was a trick question. I had a feeling.
Yep.
It's like I thought you'd go half and half, but I'll do
Yep.
11.
You almost went with it. Billy got it. That's why it's only worth 1 point.
Yeah.
I was saying if anybody was going to go, I wonder if he does this.
I even changed mine too because I was lower.
Yeah.
Mhm.
All right. Show me a winner. Ooh, some Martinez. All Martinez. Was it close for anybody?
Now it's just the longevity for me.
Yeah, that's
I
fair.
mean, they both had 18 singles, so realistically, it's right there.
Yeah. To be fair, I probably should have flipped Everett and Martina, but it is what it is. I don't fully disagree with you. But now here's a good one. I mean, I think I know where we're going, but you put these two in their prime against each other. We talked about that earlier. This would be a fun one for sure.
Mhm.
Martina or Serena, who is going to make the final 4?
What do you mean, 2 of my final 4?
That was what I was noticing on the start. I'm like, oh, I see what he did there.
Yeah, but I didn't see either one in the first half. I was like, oh shit.
Yeah, Duke was the only one. Oh, we'll get to it. He was the only one that had 2 women and 2 men in his final 4. So I thought he was going to figure out the gimmick, but just didn't go with it. You know what, Duke? Since I know you had both of them in your final 4, show me the one you had. Which
I
one you
seriously
picking?
almost picked Martina to win it all too, but
Billy, clean sweep.
Yep.
Yeah. Fantastic career for Martina, but Serena has just been absolutely insane.
It'd be hard
So,
to bet against her.
She's another one that you talk about injuries. She took the time off for the pregnancy and all that. Still made 4 more finals after that. And if not for taking the time off and all that, she probably could have been 26, 27, 28 titles. Like,
yeah. She's just a freak of nature. It's like she has the same DNA as Venus, but she just seemed like 10 times better than her at some time. It was just baffling.
You're stronger, faster.
yeah, I mean, you put them next to each other, they look the same, but on the court, she seems bigger, faster, stronger.
Yeah.
Her aggressiveness on the court too was one that you didn't see that a lot
Scary.
in women's tennis for a long time because there was a lot of rallies and a lot of precision shots. And Serena went out there and went, "No, I'm finishing these points quickly, and I'm going to scream in your face doing it." And it was just great.
Yeah, the intimidation factor of that was
100%. One of the greatest individual sport athletes of all time. But we'll see what she does when we get to the Final Four. But first, maybe give away some points. We have never given away these extra 5 points. 24 names were on the bracket. One just missed out. Who was it? David, you are in the lead, so I will get your answers first and let everyone else kind of play off of you.
Oh. Might go for historical purpose. So I think I'll go with Arthur Ashe.
Arthur Ashe. Jesse, you're in second. I think, correct? Oh, it's a close game, guys. I like it.
I'll go with Boris Becker.
Good one.
And Billy.
So I wrote it down, and this is what I'm sticking to. So I'll go with Lindsay Davenport.
That was my other guess.
Because I have it on my notepad, and that was going to be my bubble pick. So I'm sticking with it.
All three fantastic picks. All three. I mean, I guess I'm not old enough where I didn't watch Arthur Ashe growing up. I got to see the end of the Boris Becker run. But of course, we all watched Lindsay. All three fantastic tennis players would be deserving to be on this bracket for sure. But I went historical.
Oh.
And I went with the only player. Huh?
Newcomb?
No, I went with the only player that won double-digit Grand Slams that did not make the bracket. And
Tilden.
that is Bill Tilden. Didn't get a lot of love, but you win 10 Grand Slams.
That's a tennis pose there.
Absolutely. That's an old-school tennis pose. So still looking for our first bubble pick. Maybe I just need to go out. You get it. So now that should have been worth 9 points. And next week it'll be worth 10. And we'll just keep going up.
Keep going up. Here you go.
And then the bubble will burst when somebody gets it right. You know what? I'm implementing that right now. 10 points on the line next week. There you go. Let's get right to it. Your first Final Four. Let's do the women first. Ladies first. We did the men before. Steffi Graf, Serena Williams. Who is going to make it to the finals? No, actually.
It's like Steffi Graf was kind of like the Atlanta Braves back in the day. Like they always beat the team I liked. She always beat the players I liked. Damn, she was good.
Mm-hmm. Let's go, Billy. Yeah, David.
Will.i.am.
Jesse, clean sweep, not much a surprise. So congratulations to Serena Williams. 3 nobodies. And, well, we'll say 4 because I would have agreed. Have said that you were the greatest women's tennis player of all time. I know it's the greatest accomplishment in your life.
Mm-hmm.
So let's not worry about all the Grand Slams or the family or any of that. Bad Bracket said you're the best women's tennis player of all time. So feel happy about that. This is a better one for you. Nadal, Djokovic. Greatest male tennis player of all time. Who will it be? Let's go with Billy. Novak. Jesse, give me your pick. Nadal, we got a tiebreaker. David, it is up to you. Greatest male tennis player of all time is.
I'm not bowling with you ever again.
Also.
Hey.
Novak Djokovic.
I can't disagree with Jesse's pick in any way. This is like 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. It's just,
tough.
Yeah, they're both brilliant.
Pretty much the top 10. You're gonna have hard decisions.
All right, here you go. Djokovic, Serena. Only one stands tall in the end. Who will it be? We got 9 points separating you three. This is fun. I like it.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Let's start with Jesse this time. Ooh. Let's go with David this time. Billy, greatest tennis player of all time. Novak.
Not
Jesse, you got outvoted each of the last two. How do you feel?
I just don't like Djokovic, so
That's fair.
I don't really either. I think he's a dick, but
yeah. When I sent in my picks, which you'll see, I mean, my final four, I knew I should have put Djokovic as the champ because he's got the titles and all that. I just couldn't do it.
I almost switched to Serena today when Randy wanted my answers again. I was really close to typing Serena because obviously if you like both, you can say both and not be wrong to me.
Yeah.
But just for points, I went with Djokovic.
Yeah, to me, Nadal was. I mean, clay is a harder surface to play on, so winning that many titles, going after every point, and the way he played, he's the ultimate for me.
Yeah, as you see there, Jesse did go with Nadal as his champion. Billy and David to Djokovic. Billy had 3 of the final 4 correct. He went with the 3 more modern players, and
The tennis expert.
Federer got knocked out. So Billy gets 11 points. Get him up to 54. David missed out on Navratilova, and Federer did get the champion. We'll give him 9 points, put him to 61.
That was like Boris Beger's picture.
Jesse, you get 4 points there to get you up to 53. So,
and if I would have known that he was going 50-50, in the message I sent to Randy, I said Sampras, even though it should be Serena.
Yep, I would have given an extra 2. He did.
My picks would have been the same as Billy, except for the champ.
But let's give away the bonus points, and we have the big one. That is possible. How many women?
I'd actually allow it.
Right. How many women are on the bracket? We know this one. The answer is 12. Billy gets another point. He gets closer to catching David. Your second one. How many players on the bracket won each of the 4 Grand Slam championships? Jesse had the most at 18. Billy said 11. David also said 11. The answer is 13. 13 of the 24 won all 4. And the big one were 25 points. How many Grand Slam championships, singles titles, have been won by the players on the bracket? Big numbers here. Billy had the most, 288. Jesse, 283. David, 251. And your answer for 25 points, 322.
So I was the closest. So I get half.
153 from the 12 men on the bracket, 169 from the 12 women on the bracket. So there you go. Nobody gets the special 25 points. I knew it was going to be tough. And it's a fantastic score where last place is going to get over 50 points. So we will say this might be one of the higher scoring episodes of all time. But David comes away with a victory. And your third?
I'm 3-0 this season.
3 championships, the first to 3. We still haven't been able to do the Mount Rushmore because we don't have 4 people with 2. David,
ruining
first to 3. You get the final thought, sir.
Yeah, this one, like tennis, watching it, it's one of the sports I tend to watch the least. But when I get caught up into it, like nothing can really top it. Like if you watch Sinner and Alcaraz, the French Open final, like Randy couldn't, so I was messaging him and then told him, yeah, Alcaraz came back and won it. Like it was just amazing to watch. Just the effort these people put into their matches. It's insane. Like I watched Australian Open matches working in the casino live because that's the only time to watch it. And it's insane there. It's just a hell of a physical sport, and after the 5 sets, those guys look like me walking up the stairs. Like I'm exhausted.
That was I remember that day vividly. I was in Orlando for a work conference deal. David's messaging me talking about this great comeback that is happening. I'm like, I can't watch it. And then Jesse an hour later goes, "Oh, what a finish!" So they were both talking about the same match, and just in two different parts. Billy was watching bowling, but we won't we won't get.
I recorded it for him. We haven't watched it yet though.
Absolutely. So there you go. David is your first 3-time winner here in season 2. This is the first time he's won and not a wrestling episode. He was in 2 wrestling episodes before. Next week, we have 3 new people to take on what I've had to change because David is helping me do this bracket because my brain can't handle it. It was set for parody movies. It is now parody and satire movies, because I can't find 2 lists that have the same feeling on what a parody movie really is. They mix parody and satire too damn much, and I'm not going to get yelled at every time I throw up a movie, whether it was actually a satire movie. So it's best parody or satire movie. You'll have Robert Taylor, you'll have Scott back, and Andrew will come back. We have not seen him since season 1. He will make his season 2 debut. That will be next week. So like, comment, subscribe. Put down in the comments some movies that we might miss as far as the satire parody movies. Help us out as we put that one together. The next time you see David and Billy will be in 2 weeks for a special wrestling themed episode that we will not reveal just yet, because I am worried that it's even going to work out. We are testing something with that episode, and we will see if things work as smoothly on StreamYard as it does in my head. The next time,
who knows?
Yeah. The next time you see Jesse, will be in a rematch against these 2 gentlemen. It will be these 3 coming back in about a month, as they will break down the best dance crazes of all time. And I've already, yes, this was David's mind child. This was what he wanted. I've already accepted Jesse's proposal that I will not make you guys do the dance as your pick. I was very tempted to put the whiteboards away.
It's not going to stop you.
And make you do the dance to make your pick, but other than David, you are not required.
I don't have the coordination for
re-roll
that.
his ankle the day before that episode.
So that'll be the next time you see all. Yes, we will see all 3 of these guys back at it. So a lot of fun stuff. Parody movies up next, and a special wrestling one. We got best arcade games coming up, and then dance crazes. So that's what you have for the month of July. Hope you are excited as much as we are. But for now, congratulations to David for winning his 3rd episode. Congratulations for Billy for setting his personal
55
best.
times better than what I did last time.
He did much better than his first episode. And thanks again to Jesse, who put up quite.
It's got to be a
the
record
fight.
improvement.
My season average is still.
Jesse's season average is pretty good. We will be, once we get into more episodes, those numbers will come out, and Jesse's numbers will look pretty impressive. But for now, do not forget, good brackets do not last forever, but bad brackets do. See ya.